Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and I'm going to try a new style of video for now. Now, you must first of all excuse the parlous state of my hair. I'm just about to go for a hairdressing appointment, but I thought I would record this in the meantime, so just ignore it. Now, what I wanted to do was to try out this new style of creating a video every week for you. And it suddenly occurred to me the other day that I've been neglecting my videos because one of the things is, I don't want to just use clickbait titles and content. I suddenly remembered that I actually create a newsletter every week, and every week I have a bit of a topic that I've been thinking about and I think might help my clients to know about. Then I have 3 different things I recommend, a mindset thing, a marketing thing, and a money thing, things that I've experienced during the week and I would like to share. Then I talk about what's worked, what hasn't, and what's going to change. And it suddenly occurred to me that I could adapt that formula for my weekly, at least, videos. And that way, it'll be sort of for the people who don't like to read much, they can come watch the video. Magazine style format. So let's give it a go and see what you think of it. And I would love to hear your comments below, as always. And if you do like it, then please do feel free to click the like button, because it tells YouTube what kind of people like my content, and then it shows that content to more of those people. So this week I was thinking about karma and reincarnation. Now, it's not as esoteric a subject as you might think, because I was specifically thinking about the fact that if you accept the fact that we come back time and time again, then we've got to be coming back for something, haven't we? And I think we're coming back to learn a lesson. So perhaps, if you can accept that you've come into this life to learn one lesson, one big main lesson, perhaps a few little other ones, what would yours be? I think mine would be to learn how money works. And before you turn off, it's actually a really important topic for me. For me, it is. It might not be for you. But I think some people are born with the ability to know how money works. Some people are born with the ability to just effortlessly create abundance in their life. And some people are born into abundance, of course. I certainly wasn't born into abundance. I was born into a very working class family. The only person with any money in our family was Uncle Brian, and he had not only a business, but he had an orange BMW and a tiki bar. This was in the 70s, remember? And he also went on regular holidays. Well, not just him, he took the whole family, and they came back with fancy drinks for the tiki bar. That was always one of the things that I remember as a child. He bought my nan and granddad's old house, and he just turned it into a 70s paradise. And we used to go around there for Christmas and various other events. And I remember my mum and dad were very impressed with the way it was all decorated and everything. So it was really held up as a sort of the way to become comfortable and have fun and do fun things was to have a business. But I think it was a manufacturing business. Never knew much more about it than that. And he didn't talk about it to most people. So it was, perhaps I didn't show any interest. Perhaps he'd have talked about it if I'd shown any interest. Anyway, I knew I always wanted to be a business owner because of this. And I went through life, well, a large part of my life till I was about 38, thinking that being a business owner meant being a freelancer and being successful at being a freelancer. And it was only really when I got to the age of 38 and had my epiphany moment in the living room of our house in Kensal Green that I realised that being a business owner was completely different to being a freelancer. And then of course, I read the E-Myth Revisited book, and everything was revealed to me. But coming back to the lesson I needed to learn, the fact that I didn't just immediately start a business and become successful means that there's a lot more to financial success than that. And especially if you're sent here to learn a lesson, you find that the universe, or whatever it is that runs things around here, will keep throwing that lesson at you over and over again until you finally get it. And that's certainly the case for me. My finances have gone up and down, largely on an upward trend, I have to say. But they do take dips occasionally. A little fly there, it's annoying me. They do take dips occasionally. So, I always have to be very cognizant of what I've done to cause those dips. I shared a lot of what I learned in my book, The Money Gym. And then I also shared a lot of what I would learn from other people, because I interviewed 150 successful business owners for my first podcast, The Business Success Factory, as it was called then. One of the things I learned many things from was a gentleman called Daniel Priestley. He was, well, a gentleman, I call him that. He was much younger than me. And he came to London from Australia, and he started a company called Triumphant Events. And he invited me to speak at a couple of those. And I remember after one of them, he said, come and have lunch with me. And we went into the restaurant that was attached to the hotel where the event was. And we had a nice lunch and talked about things. But he was one of the people who when I created my book, Money Gym Tips, I actually included 2 of Daniel's financial business tips in there because they were different, very different to other people's. And I recently came across, I think, what was happening? Perhaps I was looking at one of his websites or something, or perhaps I got an email from him. And in the way that the internet does, they started showing me Daniel Priestley stuff. And one of the first things they showed me recently was an interview with him. There's a chap called Anil who does a podcast called The Deep Dive. And he deep dived with Daniel twice, actually, or perhaps it was one long interview that they divided up into 2. But the first one was all about Daniel's background and his sort of business success. And the second one was all about how they labelled it, how to go from 0 to multi-millions. I mean, it's a clickbait title. So ignore the title. That's not what it's about at all. It's all about how Daniel learned how money works, how Daniel learned about success thinking and business, how to run a big business. And he's actually got about 6 businesses now. He invests in other businesses. He's a bit of a Dragon's Den kind of character now. So thoroughly enjoyed that. And one of the things that I got from watching that interview was how direct and simple it is. And Daniel's got a business called Dent, and he's also got a business called Key Person of Influence. I accidentally became a key person of influence when I started the Money Gym. And then when the Money Gym finished, I was so battered, my confidence was so battered by what happened that I didn't feel able to become a key person of influence in another industry just yet. I wasn't strong enough yet. And looking back now, I realise that that's why it took me quite a long time to recover from the Money Gym, going so spectacularly wrong after having so many years of good success. So, so I like his key person of influence concept. I like what he does with his Dent Accelerator program. I like what Daniel's got to say himself. And so I highly recommend that interview to you. Let's show you what it's called, just so you know exactly what to look for. Obviously, in my newsletter, I have the thing where I'm talking about what's on my mind this week. Obviously, in the newsletter, I go into what I'm thinking about this week. And I can see that I've said here, I think my lesson is to learn about money, value, and how it all works. And I know this because since waking up at the age of 35, 38, my life has been a constant series of incidents that have taught me lessons large and small about money. And I'm not talking about currency here, which is pounds and dollars and rubles or whatever. I'm talking about money, which I've come to understand is very different from the currency we use. What we've got is money, which is gold and silver. And then on top of that, we have derivatives of money. And the first one being the fiat currency that we use on a day-to-day basis, which has absolutely no relation to any kind of value of anything. In the olden days, they had X amount of notes related to X amount of ounces of gold, but it's not like that now. And I'm going to show you a very good, simple series of videos that will explain how it all works. Because until you understand what money really is and what currency really is, then you can understand how it all works together and how it all affects what's going on in the world. And it's really worth learning that, even though it's a bit of a depressing lesson because, it's all about power and manipulation and all that stuff. And how can you possibly do well in life if you don't understand what you're really dealing with? And that's why I wanted to recommend some stuff to you. I've said here, dear reader, you're my only outlet for sharing what I'm learning about what's coming financially, which is a shame because according to the stats in my newsletter dashboard, only a few of you click the links for the things I share in the money section of my newsletter, which is ironic because everyone's subscribed to my newsletter to become a better entrepreneur, or to how to market your business better, or how to create a better mindset. Well, all of that's about how to create more money, isn't it? So why do people not click on the links about money in my newsletter as much as they click on the other links, when actually the outcome that we all want is to be happy, actually? And a lot of people perceive that to be happy, they have to have more money, and the vehicle for that is a business. So you'd think that they cut through this bit and go straight to that bit, but you never know how people work. Yeah, there's a guy called Phil who I've recently come across recently. I don't know his surname. He pops up on various other videos of people I like and respect, like Rafi Farber and Maneko64 on YouTube. And he started popping up, and they've started inviting him onto their shows because he really articulates very well and very simply what they're trying to communicate to their audience. And I wanted to share his videos too. But first of all, let's talk about 1 second, caller. Clicks and Leads Academy. We're sponsored. The newsletter this week was sponsored by Clicks and Leads, and it's going to be reopening in January. So you'll be able to join for a year in January. And it's where I teach people how to not be a secret, because I've recently come across a fantastic phrase that is, you can't be a success and a secret. No, you can't. So what I do is I teach people how not to be a secret, but how to do it in a way that's enjoyable, effective, proven, that works and that works for them. So we come at it from what's the best way you could not be a secret in a way that you find intensely enjoyable. That's one of the things I've had to find with this YouTube channel, because I really enjoy creating content on YouTube. I really enjoy editing it. I really enjoy the whole process of making a thumbnail, but I was always struggling with what to talk about. And I suddenly realized that I don't have issues with what to talk about in my newsletter. So I'm just going to use that as a template for what to talk about in my videos and show stuff, because I like showing stuff. Clicks and Leads Academy, opening again in January. You can get your name on the mailing list. Come over to clicksandleads.academy and you'll find out all about it, and join the waiting list, and we'll let you know when the doors are about to open again. But I might run a special offer just before the new year for people on the list only. Now, what else did I want to show you? I wanted to show you how to see the deep dive interview with Daniel. Here it is, Daniel Priestley, how anyone can develop the mindset of a multi-billion-dollar entrepreneur. So there's two with Daniel Priestley. It's a deep dive podcast with Ali Abdaal, and you can also get it, I believe, on all podcast platforms. So you can watch it on YouTube if you're a visual type, and you can listen to it on a podcast. I like listening to podcasts late at night. The other thing I really recommend this week is there is another interview with Daniel Priestley on Strike It Big podcast. The Strike It Big podcast has become a bit of a popular favorite of mine, because it's the son of a very successful entrepreneur who I saw being interviewed by Rob Moore recently, called Mark Tilbury. And his son has started a podcast with two other young chaps. And because they're coming at it from a very successful background, at least one of them is a very successful background, they ask different questions to people who are coming at it from a more poor working class background. So I find that very interesting, the difference in the questions. And they interviewed this chap called Mikia Rawson. And he is about 27 years old, and he's just sold a business he started about 7 years ago. And he's just made, I think he made 110 million when he sold this business. It's a tech business. But the story of how he started the business and grew the business is absolutely fascinating, because he touches a lot on the mindset of that. And I found it very interesting, not least because of the questions that these young guys were asking him. So go and check out the Strike It Big podcast. I really enjoyed that. And this particular interview, I've watched quite a few of their interviews now, but this one really struck home, because they call him the money expert, how to make go from 0 to 110 million in one fell swoop. So that was particularly good. Now, what else did I want to show you? This is it. This is Phil from the Bitter Draft. It's the Bitter Draft podcast. Now, it's spelt D-R-A-U-G-H-T, which means it's a drink. And he's chosen that name because he really likes the painting of someone taking a bitter draft. And it's a bit like swallowing your medicine, isn't it? And it sort of made me think of that. And he starts his channel with a series of, they're all quite short, they're in between 10 and 20 minutes, so you won't get too bored too quickly. And if this was the first one, so go to his channel, click on the link called videos, and then sort by oldest and start watching from there. And the first one is called What is Money, Gold or Dollar? And I really enjoyed Phil's simple way of explaining what money is, what it really is, and how it works. And it's a bit like The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney, but it's much more condensed. So if you found Mike Maloney a little bit long-winded and didn't enjoy that so much and didn't get through the 10 videos there, then do come and have a look at Phil's videos at the Bitter Draft, because they are exceptionally good, I thought. On the what's working, what isn't, and what's changing section, I recounted a great relief, I'm sure, of my newsletter readers that I have finally settled on the branding for my Nicola Cairncross site. If you read the newsletter, you'll know that I have a bit of a challenge with being cancelled off of most platforms after a while. No idea why. I think it's something to do with the Money Gym. In 2006, the Money Gym was doing really, really well. And then in 2006, it was branded a get rich quick scheme, which actually it never was indeed. And in fact, if anything, it was a get rich really, really slowly scheme. So I think that's the problem. The moneygym.com got cancelled first. Then my NicolaCairncross.com got cancelled, mainly because that was running in tandem with the Money Gym, and I talked about the Money Gym a lot on it, book and coaching program it was. And then clicksandleads.com has recently been cancelled off of Facebook. Don't know why. You never get told these things. I was just told that I'm not allowed to share the URL. I've pretty much abandoned Facebook nowadays, and I'm concentrating on Twitter and Instagram, but and YouTube, of course. So hopefully this site will be fine. So yeah, I'm happy with the design now. I think the front of it sort of lays out what I do. It's like the umbrella branding. And so I'm just going to leave it alone now and concentrate on creating content. But NicolaCairncross.com is the place to come if you want to see everything that I'm up to. And, you know, being a creative character, I'm always up to new things. So do come and check it out whenever you like. And that's, of course, the place to come and get onto the newsletter if you prefer to read rather than watch. So have I got anything else to share with you this week? No, I think that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of this new style of video. I'm going to do, because I'm doing a newsletter once a week, it gives me the content to do a video once a week. And if I think I've got something extra to say in between, or if something happens that I think you need to know about it, I will make an extra video during the week. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Click like if you did. Right, so I've just had a text from my hairdresser saying I can go over there early, which is not going to be a moment too soon, judging by this fringe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.